The Grammy Awards are being held tonight. And for more on this, we are joined live now by Eric Alper, a music publicist and industry expert. Eric, good to see you. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
So when it comes to what we're watching for tonight, some of the big nominees, because we're in Toronto, let's start with Drake.
Yeah, Drake is up for 4 awards, including Best Rap Song for the Best Rap Album, for Best Rap Performance, and Best Melodic Rap Performance. He ends his self-imposed boycott of the Grammys. It turns out that maybe being one of the most popular performers on the planet, and certainly one of the most richest, you still have a need to get Grammy nominations and potentially awards. And it's a fun night, so why not submit it? And that's exactly what he did. And now he's up for 4, tying him with Allison Russell, who's also up there in terms of the Canadian nominees. She's up for Best Americana Album, Roots Performance, Americana Performance, and Best Roots Song, too. So Canadians are pretty well represented tonight.
Yeah, no kidding. And Joanie Mitchell is well performing after having a bit of a health scare recently.
Yeah, I think she's going to be the big story of the night. I mean, I'm going to be checking the social media for sure. Not only is she going to be performing for the very first time in her career at the Grammy Awards, I mean, she's won 9 Grammys out of 18 nominations, and she's up for another one for Best Folk Album for her live album. But I think everybody in that crowd and people watching are going to be pleasantly surprised at how well she's going to be received. This is somebody who is able to cross all generations of the last 4 or 5 of them. You've got people like Olivia Rodrigo and Taylor Swift bowing down to the power of Joanie Mitchell. Then you've got the older audiences who grew up with not only Joanie Mitchell, but people like Billy Joel as well, who all really are so excited by the fact that Joanie Mitchell is making a public appearance, one of her very, very rare occasions.
Yeah, it should be so interesting to watch. Looking forward to that. You mentioned Taylor Swift. I feel like there's not a lot of things you can talk about these days without bringing up Taylor Swift. So let's get right into it. She won't be there tonight, but she is on track to possibly break some more records.
Yeah, you know, if she wins for Album of the Year, she's going to be one of the biggest of all time there. She's also up for Song of the Year and Record of the Year, so she could take that lead as well. But right now, you know, she won't be without Travis, though, but that's okay. I think that Taylor Swift can absolutely handle her own, but it could be a very record-breaking night for Taylor Swift as well.
Okay, and you mentioned it off the top, Eric, when we were talking about Drake. There's been a lot of big artists kind of boycotting the Grammys in the past few years, including The Weeknd. What's the status on that? Because I thought it was really interesting that you mentioned, you know, no matter how big of a star you are, apparently you still need to win some Grammys once in a while.
Yeah, people like winning stuff. I mean, you know, it used to be kind of uncool to say that you cared about what other people think about your art, whether it's music or films. But the Grammys are still a very, very important date on the calendar. Not only does it have still a pretty big audience in terms of the regular traditional television, but it's a giant social media event as well. And for somebody like Drake, that doesn't make a lot of appearances when it comes to music-related events, other than, of course, his own concerts. A lot of artists just, they kind of like hanging out with other people, even if it's for a couple of hours for one night.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting. Okay, so we've got a lot of really great performances tonight. Of course, Trevor Noah hosting again. Before we wrap up here, Eric, anything else you're watching for tonight in terms of nominations, performances, anything like that?
Yeah, you know, you're going to be taking a look at SZA. Her album SOS has 9 nominations, and also the very fact that the nominations for the biggest awards, including Album of the Year, Record of the Year, and Song of the Year, are all dominated by women. And so it's going to be definitely a women's night tonight. But don't forget, along with Billy Joel making a rare appearance, along with Joanie Mitchell, Tracy Chapman is also going to be performing Fast Car, her original song that Luke Combs brought to the top of the chart. So it's going to be a little bit emotional for, I think, older people like me to see these people at the Grammy Awards for the first time in forever.
Yeah, it should be such a great night. Love that song, Fast Car. Okay, Eric, so good to have you on. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, that is our industry expert, Eric Alper.